Go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here I am again, 1 week later, and there's going to be another week next week. But I want to talk to you a little bit today about some of the stuff that Enoch said in his book. Now, if you're curious about that, you could get a copy of the book and read it. But what you find toward the end of the book, now remember that this all came before Noah, since he was one of the grandfathers up the line from Noah, that there are enough laws and rules. That's what he said about the faith, about the religion. There are enough laws and rules. So don't go spending a whole lot of time making more rules, regulations, laws, do it this way, do it my way, that sort of thing. But you know what? After Noah came the Exodus, and then Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And if you look in there, you'll see there are lots and lots and lots and lots of laws and regulations. And look at our own country, if you will, or the countries across the pond, the Atlantic Ocean, and there are many, many, many rules and regulations. Matter of fact, one of the political points of view is that there are too many regulations, and whatever political party wants to get in, they talk about, oh, well, there's too many regulations, and we're going to cut those down, and we're going to cut taxes and all that stuff. What I want to remind you about is way back when the books of Enoch were written, what was written in there, in God's most holy book, and it was said by him that that's what it was, and there's a later statement by that continues to say that. But if that's significant for anything, it might be worthwhile reading. It might be worthwhile thinking about that. It might be worthwhile to give that a shot. Anyway, the idea is that you don't keep making laws and laws and laws. If you look around your community, you find churches who all have different regulations, different ways of doing things, and you got to do it their way if you're going to be a member. So nobody took that part of it to heart. The Ten Commandments was beautiful, but the intent of Enoch was that there's enough laws. You got plenty of laws to just go on. There's a guy that wrote Civil Disobedience, Thoreau, who really kind of liked to read the Bhagavad Gita when he went somewhere, or as part of his life, let's put it that way. But his whole thesis was too many laws, too many rules. And he was back when chickens were running around on Harvard lawns. And he spent a couple of years by a pond, which they call Walden Pond now. So some of the thinkers in this country have given some good thought to, let's not have all of these laws. You spend all your time trying to figure out what they are. Okay. I want to talk to you about a question that was broached to me was there's been observations of alien ships, supposed alien ships, and some for real alien ships. And there's been a pilot or two who has said that he could actually see people inside those alien ships. but they couldn't locate the ship as being coming from the U.S. or any place else other than extraterrestrial. Now, there are, what I had mentioned earlier, 30 ethers. Now, ethers is kind of a new unified system of physics and is different from the usual system of physics, which doesn't hold with ethers at all. It's just a bunch of space out there, given a few rocks and so on. But it's possible, and an analyst said, a guy that was analyzing the work, thought that, well, gee, maybe they are aliens just on a sightseeing trip. They want to see what humans look like, what the Earth looks like. But beyond that, remember we talked about life after death and about the continuation of the soul forever, for that matter, that perhaps some of the souls incarnated in other people could be in those alien ships, in which case they're not alien. They're us, we just don't know about it yet. So that's the answer to that particular quandary, and it's a possibility. It's a possibility. There are 30 ethers that we got to account for in some way. The angels have to account for it. They were assigned to it, and that may be one of the things that is going on. I don't know, but you know, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Do you think you've ever met an alien?
Only your dog. I think Pepper is very much of an alien. He looks at you, and he works with his nose and gets up there and looks at you, and, you know, yeah, he could be an alien, you know. They say, well, one way, in one of the books I read, it said that, or also on that TV program, if somebody comes to your door and knocks on your door and say they want something or other, especially young people, and their eyes are totally black, and they're not black because of those lenses that they can put in the eye, you know. Actually, I had a teacher one time that he had one eye gone, and he always put the picture of his wife in the eye. So when you shake hands with people, he'd look at his eyes. There's a picture of his wife in there. But anyway, I don't know. I would, if they're amongst us, which they probably are, and if they look similar to us or can shapeshift, that's a whole other subject too. If they can shapeshift a little bit, and they are here to learn about us. Remember that there were 200 angels sent as watchers that were supposed to help us out, but they kind of got so they liked beautiful women that were being produced by the men, and so they would marry these women, and you get giants and all kinds of strange things, which is the reason that is, according to the Bible, that God was saying, "Ah, the heck with this. This is just not what I had envisioned. This is not the creature that I wanted to make." So he said, he leaned on Noah a little bit and said, "Guess what, Noah? You know how to build an ark? I'm going to show you. I want to show you how to build an ark. And so you can put your family in it, and some animals, and weather out the storms coming, the elevation of the waters, so that nothing can survive on the earth. And then in, what is it, 40 days, it'll go away, and then you'll land your boat someplace. They think on Mount Ararat, but the people that own that mountain aren't letting archaeologists get in, because they thought they saw some dark wood there, but which would mean rotting timbers. But so far they haven't been able to make that connection. So, you know, to answer your question, I could very well have run across an alien person, but not knowing they're alien. Mm-hmm. And their strategy would be to have us not know that they're aliens, so they can continue doing what they want. There are many stories about that, though, of people being taken aboard ships and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of those, and a lot of them came from Southern California at one time, and around what was Mount Palomar, some of those mountains around there. Anyway, that's the way that sits, but I don't know. I couldn't point out an alien to you unless they come up and said they were an alien, if they were that sharp. But so, you know, just be careful. You know, as Stephen Hawking said, that we got to be careful about going out there and telling everybody where we live. They just might want to come here and live too, and do away with us. So that was his point of view. And Stephen, I understand that he did not go with the idea of an afterlife or any of that sort of thing. So I wonder what he's thinking now. I'd like to know, huh? Wouldn't that be numb? Yeah. So in regard to reincarnation and where do people go, the question of people coming in various ships is not one to just throw out, you know? Who knows? Who knows? I'm looking here at, oh, yeah, I said earlier on in the talk that Enoch was God's most holy book. Now, there's a guy that lived during the time of Queen Elizabeth I, John Dees, and his buddy Kelly, K-E-L-L-E-Y, who was a crier. He was he could read crystal balls and things like that. So, and they got a message, and they got the book of Enoch again, and with the idea that he was maybe now is the time to do something else about it. So I just wanted to point that out. One thing I wonder about is our form of government here is a democracy, but it's a Republican democracy, not the party, but it's a republic. And nowhere in any of the sacred writings did I find a word that says, be God, be good, and form a nice, easy to live in republic. I couldn't find that anywhere. But what it does say, even in the Lord's Prayer, what does it say? Thy kingdom come. It talks about kingdoms all the way through the Bible. And there are still kingdoms alive. But we have chosen, Americans have chosen to make have a democratic republic. And you can see how easy it is to do things in a democratic republic. Not, not very, is it? Okay, well, I think that's all I want to talk about today. Next time I'm going to talk about a little bit about John Dees and his friend Kelly, who has some things to say about the book of Enoch and about the magic that was involved in those books. Not magic like sleight of hand or any of that stuff, but magic in terms of lives and things. So just you guys all be good. Do whatever you want, but be good. And read the book of Enoch.